Hello, and thank you for joining me. We have had a lot going on in our world, in our communities, and with all of our neighbors lately. And I'd like to take a collective breath and look at what we can start doing as people and as educators. My name is Heather Quackenboss. I'm in the Human Development and Relationships Educator in La Crosse County for UW-Madison Division of Extension. And we're going to start by talking a little bit about bias. And know that we don't necessarily think of bias as a good thing. We tend to put it in that not good category. And realistically, bias is something that shows our preferences. It shows what we've been educated in. It shows what we do know. And I'm going to tell you that I'm biased. Absolutely, when I walk into an ice cream store, most of the time I'm going to pick chocolate peanut butter ice cream because I'm biased toward it. And it helps me make my decision a little faster when I'm in that store. Now, bias goes into what all of our first thoughts with everything are. So if I looked at an athlete, when I'm thinking of an athlete, what's that person look like? What's the first thing that popped into your head? What if your athlete looks like this? If I say airline pilot, what's the first person that pops into your head? What if your pilot looks like this? How about surgeon? What does a surgeon look like? First person that pops into your head. And what if your surgeon looks like this? The thing is, all of us have our own rhinoceros horn. We have our own perceptions, we have our own lenses, and that comes from what we've learned, that comes from our experience. It's nothing that's wrong or right with us, it just is our perception. And knowing that we have that is very important, because we know that everyone's not like us. We know that our perception's not like someone else's. And the reason that that gets so important is because it goes into what is called confirmation bias. We have all of the objective thoughts in the world over here, and we have everything that we believe and what confirms our beliefs over here. And in the middle, we have what we actually see, what we believe, what we respond and react and respond to. And when we only look at what confirms our beliefs, even when we go on Google and find all of the millions of sources we can, we often only go to those sites of what confirms our beliefs. And there's a lot of objective facts on that other side that we're never allowing ourselves to see if we stay firmly rooted in our own confirmation bias. A simple story, just to understand this a little bit, this iceberg lettuce was all I knew when I was growing up. We had it on our tacos, we had it on our sandwiches, we had it on our salads. Everything that needed lettuce was iceberg. I had no idea for a lot longer than I want to admit that there were all of these other kinds of lettuces that are delicious and nutritious and good for me. But I did not know what I did not know. And until I was introduced to them, until I gave them a chance, I thought iceberg lettuce was the be all and end all. So when we're looking at anything, we need to look at our biases and our first thoughts and say, what don't I know? What do I need to know? What can I learn? So let's just think about this. When we're looking at privilege, and I know that word can raise some hackles with some folks, and other people want to use it as a burden or a source of guilt, or even to make themselves a little bit fragile. Privileges are just things we have. Do you have this? Do you feel comfortable walking down a street alone? Can you hold hands with your significant other with no questions or weird looks? Are you comfortable in the community you live in? Do most people in your community celebrate the same holidays that you do? Can you find the foods that you like at your local grocery store? When you watch television, do the people on the shows look like you? And do they portray you in a good light? In school, Were most of your history books about the ancestors that looked like you? If you call the police, do you know that you will get help? Thing is, we have all kinds of privileges based on our income, our culture, education, our ability, our age, our race, our gender, our upbringing. All of these are things we just have. It's nothing we necessarily earned. It's just the stuff that we don't necessarily think about because we don't have to. And if we don't have to think about something, that's our privilege. Often, all of us as humans and as educators want to put our best selves forward. And that's great. At the same time, when we're putting that best self forward, we also need to look at our humanity and our vulnerability because all of us have bites and bruises. And those bites and bruises are important because they help us connect to other people. It helps bring us empathy. It helps us bring understanding. It helps us know what we don't know because we get how it is to be a human. And so sometimes what we try to do is we try to get very nice. We say, I don't see race, I'm a good person. And when we say that, what we can be saying is, I'm going to use my place of privilege to refute, deny those sufferings of those who don't have my privilege. And what that can do is erase their personal and cultural history. And we do not want to do that. So when we talk about race, it's uncomfortable. And we have to stop being nice about it. And we have to start listening and hearing and honoring folks. So what can we do? We can recognize our privilege, to just look at what we don't have to worry about, to look at what, as just a person, we can do in our own community. As an educator, how we educate and what we use. We can look at what racism looks like in our context. What does it look like when I'm at work? How do I make sure I include? How do I make sure I welcome everyone? What does it look like in our group of friends? When someone says a joke or an off-color remark, and do we sit there? Do we stand up? And we can honor other people's experiences. No one has the experiences that we do, and we don't have the experiences that everyone else does. To really listen and hear another person and their experience and what they live is going to be of utmost importance as we move forward. And just know that this brave space that we need to enter is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be humbling, and it's going to be hard. And as humans, as educators, as people, neighbors, parents, friends, it's our opportunity to be better and to help others be better. How can you find your brave space today? How can you recognize your privilege? And how can you use that to help others? Thank you so much. And I challenge you to be better, to do better, and to honor yourself and others.